Good morning, all of you. Today, we are going to start the first chapter of world politics, that is the Cold War era. Do you know what is the meaning of Cold War era? Cold means here, cold means silent. War means obviously the conflicts, and era means that time period when this happened. And children, you know what happened? Like there were two major countries, those who had conflicts, and they started this Cold War era. It was a period of geopolitical tension between the Soviet Union and the United States and the respective allies, the Eastern Bloc and the Western Bloc, after the World War II. And the period is generally considered to span the 1947 Truman Doctrine to the 1991 dissolution of the Soviet Union. Now, if we talk about the Cold War, why it is called the Cold War? The Cold War began after World War II. The main enemies were the United States and the Soviet Union. Actually, they were enemies, but in terms of ideologies. They were following the different ideologies. The Cold War got its name because both sides were afraid of fighting each other directly in a hot war. That means it was not a direct war. And nuclear weapons were not used. They might destroy everything. So they didn't use all those weapons. So it was not a direct war. It was an ongoing politically rivalry between the US and the Soviet Union and their respective allies that developed after World War II, or well understood it as a nuclear stalemate between superstates. Each possessed weapons of mass destruction and was capable of inheriting the other. Now, what was happening? Why it happened? What were the reasons? Why it happened like as a Cold War? It was the most important political issue because Soviet Union and United States, they were disagreed on many points. They reduced the trade barriers. It was believed that it would promote economic growth at home and abroad and bolster stability with US friends and allies. Now, if we ask the politicians or the people, those who are from the same field, if we ask, like, what did Cold War teach us? It forced us to think in global terms. In other words, it forced us to think in planetary terms. The planet was divided into two armed camps, and one camp led by the US, presiding over NATO, and the other camp led by USSR, presiding over Warsaw Pact. Now let's see what happened there and what were the causes, and if we think that does Cold War still exist. See, if we talk about all these things, people do have conflicts. One more thing I would like to discuss here is what were the three causes of the Cold War. Historians have identified several causes that led to the outbreak of the Cold War, including tensions between the two nations at the end of the World War II, the ideological conflict between both the United States and the Soviet Union, the emergence of nuclear weapons, and the fear of communism in the United States. Now, let's see what is here in this PPT. Now, Cold War era was after World War II. It was 1939 to 45, and there were two powers. One was Axis powers, and one was Allied powers. In Axis powers, it was Germany, Italy, Japan, and Allied powers were US, Soviet Union, and France. Now, US and USSR, they had the Cold War between 1945 to 1991. End of Second World War, and it was a beginning of Cold War. Cold War itself means, you can understand, like there is no direct war there. At Iwo Jima Island in Japan, these are the two pictures which symbolize the victory of US and USSR in Second World War. And on Riksdag German Parliament, these are the two pictures. Now, how the World War II ended? Actually, US dropped two atomic bombs on the cities of Japan to stop the war, causing Japan to surrender. And those two places were Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Hiroshima 6 August, little boy; Nagasaki 9th August, fat boy. And the critics of the US decision to drop the bombs have argued that the US knew that Japan was about to surrender and that it was unnecessary to drop the bombs. They suggest that the US action was intended to stop the Soviet Union from making military and political gains in Asia and elsewhere, and to show Moscow and the United States was supreme. Now, what exactly the Cold War is? The Cold War referred to the competition, the tensions, and a series of confrontations between the United States and the Soviet Union, backed by the respective allies. I told you the Cold War was basically the tensions, the different opinions. It was not direct kind of fight. It was not directly the war. It was indirect war. Then there were two sides of Cold War as well. One was capitalism and another was communism. And US was capitalism based and USSR was communism based. Then US had an ideology of democracy, capitalism, and USSR had socialism and communism. So US was turned into Western Alliance and USSR was turned into Eastern Alliance. It was NATO in US and Warsaw Pact in USSR. NATO, April 1949, 12 states were following Seato and Cento, and Warsaw Pact 1955 to encounter forces of NATO. Now, what was the logic of deterrence? It means both the sides have the capacity to retaliate against an attack and to cause much destruction that neither can afford to initiate war. So they were not even, interested to have direct war because they knew it that what kind of destruction would could take place, so they avoided this. So that is why, just because of their difference in opinion, they had this Cold War. Now, why did superpowers need to make alliances with the smaller countries? Because, as you know, why we were colonized, like why Indians were colonized, because of the resources. So, whosoever the superpowers were, when they used to colonize the smaller states, their main gain access was their vital resources, their territories. Like vital resources were used for oils and minerals, their territory was used for superpowers could launch their weapons and troops, and the locations from where they could spy on each other, and they used to give them the economic support as well, and instead they used to pay for the military expenses. So these were ideological reasons. And now, why did the smaller states support the superpowers? Because of the protection, the weapons, the economic aid, because they were getting each kind of aid, that means help, from these superpowers. Now there was Cuban Missile Crisis 1962. In US, the president was John F. Kennedy and USSR Nikita Khrushchev, and it happened in Cuba, Fidel Castro. Now, what is Cuban crisis? Cuba was an ally of Soviet Union and received both diplomatic and financial aid from it. And Nikita Khrushchev, the leader of the Soviet Union, decided to convert Cuba into a Russian base. In 1962, he placed nuclear missiles in Cuba. The installation of these weapons put the US under threat. 3 weeks after the Soviet Union had placed the nuclear weapons in Cuba, the Americans became aware of it. In October 1962, US U-2 spy plane flights over Cuban territory revealed the missile installation sites. Kennedy ordered American warship to intercept any Soviet ships heading to Cuba as a way of warning the USSR of its seriousness. A clash seemed imminent in what came to be known as Cuban Missile Crisis. This is very, 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 very important question of this chapter. So you all have to go through it. Now, the arenas of the Cold War. Korea 1950-53, Berlin 58-62, Congo early 1960s. Now, division of Korea occurred of the end of the World War II. North Korea, USSR, and South Korea was US. North and South Korea continued a military standoff with periodic clashes. The conflict survived the end of the Cold War and continues to this day. Now, at the same time, India was getting independent. That means in the year 1947, India started one movement, and that was non-aligned movement. It was a strategy. Like India was facing so many challenges to build a new nation, because in the meantime, India was parted into two parts. Like India Pakistan partition took place, and India was under stress. We had our own challenges to build up a new nation. So India started non-aligned movement. That means they were not in any of the blogs. Why? Because they don't want destruction. They did not want destruction, and they did not want to continue all those things, the tensions, the conflicts, because already it was going on from so many years. So what exactly the non-alignment moment was? Non-alignment moment gave the newly independent countries a way of staying out of alliances. Now, who was the founder of NAM? Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of India. He and Josip Broz Tito from Yugoslavia, and three more: Sukarno from Indonesia, Kwame Nkrumah from Ghana, and Gamal Abdel Nasir from Egypt. Actually, these people were they were representing the countries, those who were at the doorstep of the democracy or those who were newly independent. So they decided not to be in any of the blogs, and these people, they got support from the citizens of the countries as well. New international economic order was the NIEO aims at the restructuring of the existing institution and establishing new organizations which will govern the flow of trade, technology, and capital resources for the benefit of the whole world in general and the developing countries. Now, the global trading system, according to UNCTAD in NIEO, it's a report of 1972 that the least developed countries should be given the control over their natural resources, which are exploited by the developed countries, and this is very true. We had already faced it. So they should be given access to Western markets so that they can sell the products and therefore make trades more useful for the poorer countries. Reduce the cost of the technology from the Western countries. LDC should be provided greater role in international economic institutions. India and the Cold War as a leader of NAM, India particular care in staying away from the two alliances and raise voice against the newly decolonized countries becoming part of these alliances. India took international decisions and stances that served its interest of the superpowers and the allies. India was often balanced one superpower against the other. Now, there was a criticism of India's non-alignment policy. India's NAM said to be unprincipled. It is suggested that India was inconsistent and took contradictory postures. India signed the Treaty of Friendship in 1971 with USSR for 20 years. But is NAM relevant today? Yes. NAM contains some core values and enduring ideas. It is based on recognition that newly decolonized states or newly independent states of the Asia, Africa, and Latin America share a historical affiliation and can become powerful force if they came together. It means the poor and very small countries need to become follower of any of the big parts, and they could pursue an independent foreign policy. NAM is based on a resolve to democratize the international system. It provides an alternative world order to redress the existing inequalities. Now, at the end, there is a cartoon as well. Now, what you all have to do is you all have to go through this PPT, because I have explained you, but even then, I want you people to take out your queries. And what could I say is there were five strategies of the Cold War. Also, the strategic plan that won the Cold War was President Reagan's strategy to accelerate the demise of Soviet Union. Consists of five pillars: economic, political, military, ideological, and moral as well. And there were few positive effects of the Cold War: the implementation of American Marshall Plan and the Communist Motilov Plan, the nuclear arms race, the space race, and the global military buildup all served to create global political stability and economic prosperity. It led to many head-to-head brawls with the United States and the Soviet Union. So, if we say what are the Cold War effect in the present time? The Cold War has also affected us today by helping the West evade communist rule. Without intervention from the US forces, China and the Soviet Union might have conquered Europe and the US. Finally, the Cold War helped from modern day friendships, alliances, and hostilities between the countries.